Hello everyone, and welcome to something a little bit special. Today I'm joined by a very exciting guest. I'm joined by KidKerrigan. Kerrigan, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man.
Oh my gosh, that silent introduction. For those of you who don't know, for those of you who might be watching on YouTube, of course, KidKerrigan's a fantastic streamer, one of my favorites, streams all kinds of variety content. You focus a lot on the Blizzard games though, that's correct?
Mostly. I have been playing some other stuff too lately. And basically because I have the past few days I've been addicted to Subnautica, but my capture card hasn't been working. So I can't play like the PS4 and stuff on stream and whatever anymore. But we will fix it eventually and we'll be back this.
Excellent. So even though you do play, I know you play a lot of Heroes of the Storm, played some WoW and stuff before, but Hearthstone seems to be slightly neglected. Is that the case? It is
a little bit, yeah.
But you love getting those card backs, don't you?
I do. I think the highest rank I got was like rank 5. And that's really good. Years ago.
Rank 5
was like years ago when I went on a work trip.
Oh,
and I was like, I wasn't ranked 9. I feel like it was 5, but maybe it was 9. And I was stuck at the airport for like 9 hours.
Oh.
And so then I was like, yeah, sweet.
You just grinded it out to rank 5.
Yeah, it was like the time of like aggro paladin.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Years ago.
Well, so it's definitely an achievement. I think you should be proud of rank 5. Often people call that dad legend because you don't have time to get to actual legend.
Yeah,
you got to do dad things. So that's definitely the case. So I guess for yourself with Hearthstone, what stops you from playing it more?
It just kind of got to the point where like. So it's the amount of stuff that there is to learn. It's like the pool of information and the fact that like every so often I need to remove half of the information I've spent years learning and then learn all the new information with a new expansion or whatever, and like relearning this new meta and stuff. Like my brain does not have time for that. Yeah,
absolutely. I think Hearthstone's it's kind of a full-time game. You got to be pretty deep in there.
And I think it's very intellectually intensive, I like to call it.
Well, I don't know if I'd agree with that. Sometimes you just play the silly deck and you do the silly things and you win the game. Hooray!
Oh, I wish I could do that. I used to be able to do that. But now not so much.
I think you're totally right that for a lot of people, particularly people who just want to take things pretty casually, a big card pool, especially right now we actually have one of the biggest card pools in Standard of all time.
Really?
It can be really intimidating. Yeah, we've got a full 6 sets in Standard, so there's 6 different sets.
See, that's insane.
Yeah, and the good thing is we are going to have a rotation soon once the next set comes out, so that's going to pare everything down and make things a lot easier. So I guess for myself and for you, we got to find a deck that you can play. Like I was saying before, there's 3 main decks I think that'll be a great choice for someone like yourself. Those 3 being Beast Hunter. I think Beast Hunter has been really strong lately, and it's also the most budget of all the decks. And the other 2 options are a little bit more expensive. It's Odd Paladin and Odd Rogue. I think that these are great choices because they are generally pretty aggressive decks. You're not going to have to make too many decisions when it comes to these decks. But each decision that you make is still pretty important.
I like those too. By the way, definitely down for Rogue because I think I have. Wait, where do I see these things? I wish they would make an easy way to see which of your heroes are golden because.
Oh, so if you if you exit out a collection and go to play, and if you've got a deck.
Yeah, that's why you have to like make a deck first.
But
I think Rogue is the only one I have that's not a golden hero yet.
Oh, wow.
I have Golden Hunter and I have Golden Pally and I have Golden Warlock, I want to say. I'm not sure about Mage. Maybe I have Mage too. But yeah, I know Rogue I don't. Rogue's only level 41.
Alright, so I guess with Odd Rogue, there's a couple of key cards that we need to have. The first one is Baku the Moon Eater. So this is a legendary. It enables the Odd archetype. So if you just go to collection and put a search in for Baku, B-A-K-U.
Luckily, I have that, dude.
Yes, awesome. We've got a Baku. For those of you out there who are looking for a great deck to jump on ladder and you don't have Baku, you're thinking of crafting it, I definitely recommend it. Baku is one of the best crafts in the game, right behind Leroy Jenkins. Speaking of which, do we have a Leroy Jenkins?
Yes, we do.
Excellent. We've got Leroy and we've got Baku. So those are the two main legendaries that we need for Odd Rogue. The other main cards that we need are Vile Spine Slayer. That's an epic. Have we got Vile Spines?
We don't, but I have hella extra cards, so let me click the button. Let me click the hella button.
Do some dusting?
Yeah. That's my push a talk button. Oh! Two of those?
Two Vilespines for sure. Vilespine is one of the greatest cards for Rogue. It is going to be rotating out soon enough, but if you want to play some Rogue games, this is a card that's in essentially every Rogue build. Just see, really, really powerful. Great answer for a lot of decks, particularly decks like Even Warlock that might be trying to cheat out a huge Mountain Giant very early on. If we have the Vilespine, we can usually close that game out pretty quick. Nice. Alright, so I'm going to quickly send you a link, a deck link, in Discord.
Shit.
So if you want to copy that code into your game, and I'll do the same thing so that I can show.
Do I have everything on this list? Apparently.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got the Baku and the Leroy and you just crafted the two Vile Spines, those are the two main parts of the deck.
It looks like I do have everything.
Yeah, so you might be missing some rares, but I would imagine not so. SI7 agent.
30 out of 30.
There we go. So this is Odd Rogue. So if you haven't experienced any of the odd or even archetypes out there, or for those of you who don't know, Baku the Moon Eater says at the beginning of your game, if your deck contains only odd cost cards, it upgrades your hero power. And with Rogue, that means that our hero power, instead of giving us a 1-2 dagger, actually gives us a 2-2 dagger. And this is extremely good in the early game because it allows you to trade in, it allows you to contest the board quite a lot, and it means that our minions that we play can generally go pretty uncontested, and we can use those to get quite a lot of face damage in.
Yeah.
Now,
and it's got small boys.
Yeah, so we've got a lot. It's a really aggressive deck. If you hover over the name panel, you'll see we've got 12 1-drops in the deck, which is huge. Of which I believe 8 of those are minions. So we've got a lot of great early game minions. Then we don't have any 2-drops because, of course, we're playing odd. But that's ideally when we're going to be daggering up and trading in. And then on the 3-drops, we've got a really nice aggressive selection of 3-drops. Hench Clan Thug, Young Thug, my beautiful pig son is in here, loud and proud. And he's going to be doing some damage. This is one of our premier 3-drops. Goes great with the hero power because, you know, we've upgraded. We're pretty incentivized to hero power often. So Young Thug is very, very good. We've also got Vicious Fledgling, Flappy Bird, as it's known. This is another great aggressive 3-drop. And particularly if your opponent can't deal with it immediately, it can really snowball out of control. So we're definitely going to be probably making some risky plays around Vicious Fledgling. Because they do have a pretty high chance to win us the game. The other 3-drops in here, we've got SI7 Agent, which is just a general good card, can be very helpful at taking out cards like Raid Leader or other important minions we need to take down if they're defended by a taunt or something like that. Also, a little bit of extra reach is always nice. We've got some Tar Creepers. This is our big defensive boy. I know a lot of people might be saying, why do we have a taunt minion, particularly one as defensively minded as Tar Creeper in an aggressive deck? And the great thing with Tar Creeper is he helps protect your more brittle minions. You know, cards like...
I like my face, especially if I'm attacking so much, then my face hurts.
Absolutely, yeah, you're going to be taking a lot of face damage, and this can help us in those minion-based mirrors, makes it harder for your opponent to trade in. Tar Creeper just can be an absolute nightmare for some decks. And the last 3-drop to close it out, we've got a 1 of Ironbeak Owl as a bit of flex, as a bit of tech. Ironbeak Owl is very good in some matchups. you know, right now, especially Death Rattle Hunter, these kinds of things, it's pretty strong, and we're seeing a resurgence in like even Paladin and combo Paladin and things like that. There's a lot of Blessing of Kings around, and I don't like it, and that's what this Iron Beak Owl is here to solve. Onto the 5-drops. This is where we kind of get some of our meteor minions, some thicker boys. We've got one of Cobalt Scalebane, a fantastic card, another kind of snowbally card. And we've also got Fungalmancer. Fungalmancer rewards us for having control of the board, because ideally we do want to have 2 minions on the board when we do play it. So it works great in this deck because we can usually take control of the board, get a big buff on. It's for immediate damage as well if we're going face. So it's a very excellent tempo-oriented card. Leroy Jenkins, of course, the big finisher himself. We can often pair this with the Cold Bloods at the top. The 1 mana spell, in order to deal, you know, 10, 15 damage, that kind of stuff out of nowhere. So he's a big closer for the deck. And then we've got the Vile Spines there, just to kind of catch all to make sure that we don't get obliterated by any huge minions. There we go. So that's the deck. And of course, we've got Baku. We have to have it there. Hopefully we never draw it, because it's pretty bad if we draw it.
It's good for like empowering your hero power, but not like necessarily playing him on the board.
Exactly. The downside of Baku is obviously you have to play odd, but also you have to put Baku in the deck, which can sometimes be a disadvantage. So I guess looking at the kind of the deck that we've got in front of us, how are you feeling about it? You got any questions?
I like it. I like me some aggressive play. I pretty much, I think, when I started playing this game, someone that I watched a lot was Reynad, and so I played a shit ton of Zoo.
Yes.
And, like, yeah. So, hence Warlock being one of my first 500 heroes.
Yes, so you know that face is the place, and we'll be going there.
100%.
We'll be going there quite a lot. The only thing I would like to just ask quickly, because this is probably the most budget version of Odd Rogue that I would feasibly go for. You could probably cut the Leroy. But do you have Myra's Unstable Element? Myra, M-Y-R-A.
I do not.
You do not. Okay, that's fine. We can play without Myra's Unstable Element, but if you just want
the rest of your deck.
Yeah, so if you want to take a look at that card, so Myra's is excellent in Odd Rogue. It's seeing a massive resurgence as well, and the reason it's doing so is because it's an excellent finisher. If you look at the cards like Cold Blood, South Sea Deckhand, Deadly Poison, and of course Leroy Jenkins, if we can get to, you know, 8 or 9 mana, we can Myra's, have 4 mana left, and that could mean that we, you know, drop a South Sea Deckhand, put a Cold Blood on it, Deadly Poison our weapon, and all of a sudden we're doing an extra 8 damage out of nowhere. So it's kind of a little bit of a Hail Mary, but given that we have so many pretty aggressive cards and immediate damage cards in our deck, it's usually a pretty reliable finisher. So a lot of people have been looking at that, but I think that the deck that we've got right now is totally fine, and I think we can definitely get some wins with this one. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, let's go.
Right.
I'm good.
All right. So what we'll do is we'll jump into some games, and we'll try and get you that card back, and let's go.
That took longer than it used to.
Yeah, so they actually changed some of the ranks recently, so you might have a bit of a longer queue. All right, so the first big important thing is the mulligan. With Odd Rogue.
Bye.
So I'm actually using a tool called HS Replay, a tool that I really, really like. And I can go on there and I can check some stats for specifically this deck and the win rate percentages of certain cards in the opening hand, etc., etc.
I remember I used to use that a lot.
Yeah, HS Replays is a fantastic tool. I would recommend it to everyone. So ideally, in our opening hand, we're looking for Firefly, Diamol, Argent Squire, Henchclan Thug, these kinds of minions. It makes sense. We're looking for our early game. But we do have the coin. So what I think is that we should send back the Blink Fox, the Cold Blood, and the Baku. And we might go for a coin on this Vicious Fledgling, because it might be able to get us an early win. Usually I wouldn't keep a 3-drop. But with the coin, I think this is good. And we even drew the Firefly, so we're really, really well set up to curve excellently here. The main thing with Hunter... Ooh, okay. The main thing with Hunter is there's a lot of different Hunter decks. We can just play the Firefly here. There's a lot of different Hunter decks out there. And oftentimes it's quite hard to gauge which one you're against. But we're clearly up against some form of beast hunter here. So this is going to be a rip snorter. We're going to be trading a lot. We're going to be bashing minions into each other. And it's going to be pretty fine line. Opponent doesn't have the 2-drop. This is really important. Beast hunter is built around this 1-2 punch of having a beast on turn 1. And then an excellent follow-up turn 2 play. So now we've got some interesting options here. We could dagger up and trade into that Diamol, which I think is pretty strong. The other option is we could do something like trade with the Firefly, coin SI7 agent, which can deal the last 2 damage to the Diamol. But I think, given our opponent's play, I think we just want to maybe dagger up here and trade into that Diamol with our dagger and our Firefly.
Get him!
Against Beast Hunter, it is a little bit more important than most other aggressive mirrors to make sure that they don't have a beast in play, because we can kind of get wrecked by cards like Houndmaster. Okay, Leok is not the most offensive thing. Now we have some options. I think what I'm kind of feeling is maybe we just go for Vicious Fledgling, and then we just attack the Firefly into our opponent's face. But the only thing that is weak to is if our opponent has Flanking Strike. So that's why we don't want to use our dagger in this case. So we'll just go face with the Firefly. And we'll hope that our opponent doesn't have the Flanking Strike.
Use the thing.
Yeah, dagger management. Dagger management in... yeah, we can end turn now. Dagger management in Odd Rogue is really, really important. I think it's one of the most understated parts of the game. Parts of this deck. Multi-shot, wow.
Oh, wow. This guy?
Good. This guy indeed. Alright, so let's...
plus glad he doesn't have one anymore.
Yeah, I'm glad that he doesn't have the multi-shot. Glad he didn't have the Flanking Strike. That would have been worse. So I think maybe we go for Tar Creeper and a... and the South Sea Deckhand? And get that South Sea Deckhand going face. And we'll hold our dagger again.
What does Flanking Strike do?
So Flanking Strike is a 4-mana hunter spell. It says deal 3 damage to a minion and summon a 3/3 wolf.
Oh, right. Okay, I remember that one.
Okay, so our opponent's going to probably take care of our Tar Creeper here.
I just realised his name's Lord Farquaad, and I'm living for it.
Oh my gosh. give me your best Princess Fiona impression.
I don't even remember what she just sounds like Cameron Diaz.
I mean, yeah. Oh, geez, they had the big rush hand.
Okay, this is... okay. I mean...
We'll see,
okay.
We'll see what they do with it. I mean, yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah, this is not the worst. I think if our opponent doesn't have the Rexar Death Knight, then we should be okay here. So I think now is a great opportunity to get that SI7 down to kill something. But what are we going to combo it with? Maybe... so maybe Flame Elemental, Diamol, then SI7 to shoot the Leok, and then we'll use our dagger to kill the Timberwolf.
This guy's toast.
And we can pass here. So as long as our opponent doesn't have a kind of bigger late game play, which I usually would say Beast Hunter doesn't, unless they discover one from a Jeweled Macaw.
Oh no!
Just don't want our opponent playing like a big 5-cost beast or something here.
This is my anxiety.
There's the big 5-cost beast, but it's not the worst one. This is where we need our Vile Spine Slayer, but not today. Alright, so let's start off with a Blink Fox and see what we get. Cave Hydra. Interesting. I think we can start getting aggressive. So I'm feeling maybe we dagger up and then we cold blood that SI7 agent. We'll use the dagger to kill the jeweled macaw, and then the flame elemental to kill the other 1/1, and then face with everything else. If our opponent wants to trade into the SI7 agent, then they can actually trade that Corpse Widow, get that out of here. Oh, Unleash is pretty bad. And Hunter's Mark. That's okay.
Why is my game lagging so much?
Is it still in windowed?
No, it's in full screen.
Okay. Interesting. So what we could do here potentially is like Tar Creeper, Coin, Fungalmancer. And that will buff both of our boys up to quite huge sizes. And we could even then trade our Diamol into the Cave Hydra.
Into the corpse?
Into the Corpse, whatever it's called. Corpse Widow?
Corpse Widow, yeah.
Yeah. And then we can dagger down one of those dogs.
Job's done.
And pass back. We're feeling pretty good. We are pretty low on life. But we do have this Leroy to help close the game out. Our opponent's facing down 8 damage. So do we have lethal here? The old lethal check. So we have 8 in play, 6 with the Leroy is 14, and 2 more with the dagger. So we don't have lethal, so let's just go for a dagger up. We'll play our Hench Clan Thug. And we may as well play the Cave Hydra as well, since our opponent's played both Unleash the Hounds. And then we'll face as the place. We just gotta hope.
Dagger one? Do we do one dagger face or do we save it?
Absolutely go face with the dagger. Once we get to kind of this turn 7, 8, 9, where we have a lot of mana spare, we can be pretty liberal with our use of the dagger to go face.
And we want to buff up this boy too.
Yeah.
Woo! Oh, we win one!
Got him. Take that, Lord Farquaad. It's my swamp.
Yeah, these types of decks are the... I've never had a rogue deck like this. Like, rogue has always been the one that eluded me.
I absolutely agree. Rogue was the class that I definitely played the least of before Odd Rogue came out. But this was the first deck that I ever got Legend with as well. So Odd Rogue is something I'm very familiar with. And it feels good always feels good to play it. It's a really interesting style.
The light shall bring victory.
None
Okay.
can escape my fury.
So up against a Priest here. Now, one of the things with South Sea Deckhand is South Sea Deckhand's actually our worst 1-drop, particularly against Priest, which almost every deck is going to be playing Northshire Cleric. Obviously, a 2-1 minion doesn't match up very well against a 1-3 minion.
Yeah.
So I'd be very tempted to send everything back here, just so we can hit our premium 1-drops, and possibly our better 3-drops as well. Yeah, just like that. We've got our great 1-drop. We've got kind of a catch-all card in Deadly Poison, just in case our opponent gets a really quick start. Or maybe they're like Murloc Priest. And then we've got our great 3-drops. Well, speaking of, I'm very tempted to coin a dagger here and kill that Light Warden.
Yeah.
Nothing good comes of a turn 1 Light Warden.
Yeah.
Job's done.
That's a very calculated play.
Absolutely. You know, this person's probably playing some kind of aggressive heal priest or something like that. And particularly if they have the follow-up of Shadow Ascendant, it's a 2-mana 2/2 that gives +1/+1 to one of your minions at the end of the turn. Okay. This is going to be a bit tougher. So we could use a South Sea Deckhand to trade into that Northshire Cleric, which I'd be pretty tempted to. It depends if we want to use the Deadly Poison to kill the Northshire Cleric, or the South Sea Deckhand, or we just want to leave it in play. but I don't think leaving it in play is a great move. So I would...
Deadly poison is better to keep for later, though, isn't it?
Especially,
Just in
yeah,
case.
we've only got one charge left. Okay, so go South Sea Deckhand and trade first. Then use the dagger and then play Argent's Blood. That's one of the few things we need to pay attention with in this deck with sequencing, is just mostly South Sea Deckhands and some of our combo cards, but most of the time you can kind of play things in any order.
I will mess it up at some point today, I guarantee you.
Oh, everyone does.
Oh, that's so kind. He healed my North Shark.
Alright, so we've got some options here. Mostly the option is Vicious Fledgling or Hench Clan Thug. I would say Vicious Fledgling all the way, because we don't have a dagger up, and Vicious Fledgling doesn't require us to do anything else. And our opponent now has to have an answer, or else this Flappy Bird is going to probably devour them whole. They have the Master Spell. Okay, that's not the best, not the worst.
I mean, they used it before we dropped our Hench Clan. So.
Yeah. So let's just go for Young Thug over there, and we'll rumble with the rest of our boys. In fact, we might want to Cold Blood that Vicious Fledgling. Go first. So the only thing here is if our opponent has a card called Mass Hysteria, which is a new card from Rastakhan's Rumble, it could be pretty dangerous for us. Mass Hysteria basically makes all the minions on the board fight each other randomly, kind of like Brawl. Oh, Inner Fire on our Vicious Fledgling.
Oh,
our opponent has kind of shat the bed a little bit here. So let's go with Blink Fox and see what we hit. Roo-roo! Spirit Lash. It's pretty bad.
yeah, I don't want to use that now.
Let's just... I think we'll dagger up. We'll go face with the minions, but just leave the dagger up for now. Because we want to try and get that deadly poison on it next turn. But yes, our opponent has kind of started freaking out. And that's exactly what you want to do with a deck like this. You know, make them start having to make desperation plays, like inner firing your minion after... Ooh, okay, Holy Nova. Opponent's in there. Vile Spine. Okay. This is a tough one. Part of me wants to just go like Leroy Cold Blood and then use our dagger on the one of the whelps. Or
Leroy
and then Cold Blood. Yeah, I think that might be the play. So go Leroy and then Cold Blood on said Leroy. And then use our dagger on one of the whelps, just so they can't trade into Leroy. And then we'll go face with everything else. We'll see if our opponent has another Holy Nova. But this is a kind of risky play. This is like going for it maybe a little bit before we're ready.
This is kind of where I usually screw myself over, and I'm like, I use, oh dang. I like use too much momentum too soon, and then they come back and they have like 1 health left and I die.
Yeah, it's definitely a it's not, I think it's a calculated risk sometimes. Like sometimes it's going to work out, sometimes it's not. So we can go Spirit Lash, then Vile Spine and kill their whelp. So Spirit Lash is just to enable the combo. And then we can attack face with the dagger.
And then just Vile Spine.
So Vile Spine, the whelp, yeah. So we can. So next turn we're setting up. So we can use that last charge of the dagger on their face. So that next turn we can dagger up and then hit it with a deadly poison. So we want to get that the full use out of the deadly poison, especially with our opponent on 8.
Access denied.
Ooh, weird.
See, like these magnets, I'm like, that's just a whole nother level of shenanigans that I wasn't prepared to learn about.
Oh my gosh. Well,
oh no!
Sucks that we used our Vile Spine. But we got another one.
We have another one, yeah.
Let's dagger up and then deadly poison.
And then Valspine,
and then
the big boy.
Valspine, the big, huge lad. And then we can just go face with our dagger and with our other Valspine. So very good draw there. Kerri, you're very skillful at this game with the sick draws. But I think Valspine there or Ironbeak Owl, both very good draws. Does our opponent have anything? Nope. You get to finish them off with your choice of plant or dagger. Oh, going for the Blink Fox first. I can respect this. As Eric's going
That's right, I'm just going to keep facing him. I just wanted to see what would happen.
You got to
I always say the C.
GG. 2 for 2.
Yeah!
Right, let's get that next one.
We're doing good so far.
We're doing
See,
good
it's
so
the type
far.
of deck that, like, I understand.
What do you mean by that? You mean it's got a pretty sound strategy, or?
Like, it's not as... A lot of rogue decks can be, like, you know, so you know the meme gifs of the lady doing calculations?
Oh, yes, I actually have that that gif ready
Literally,
to go.
yes.
Right on my opponent's hero whenever they start tanking.
Yeah.
That's how you feel? You're
yes.
not, you don't vibe those decks?
The ones that are like like the old school rogue, where it's like you do the backstep thing and then you pump up this guy, but then there's a combo and it's like, oh.
Well, this deck's definitely much more straightforward. And I think this deck is also a little bit more rewarding to learn. So this looks like a full mulligan, I would say. Even on the coin, I don't think keeping SI7 or Blink Fox around. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, true. I was just thinking I wanted something, because that was then another thing I tended to do was think something like, oh, I have the coin, I can keep whatever, but it's like, but I don't want to have to use the coin just to trigger the agent.
Yeah, so. Exactly. In Magic, mulligans are there's kind of a similar thing where oftentimes people kind of convince themselves to keep some pretty rough hands. All right, so
what is this? Wild? This leper gnome.
Leper gnome.
People still play this card.
Yeah, no, I mean, strange decks play this card. So Hunter decks, one of the other great things is if you ever freak out and you're like, what deck am I playing against? On HS Replay, you can always jump over, you can be like, oh, Hunter deck, and if you've got premium, you can be like, oh, includes Leper Gnome. And we can actually figure out that it's Odd Hunter. So we probably want to play this South Sea deckhand, even though our opponent's going to trade into it. Because Odd Hunter is... Well, our opponent's doesn't have the actual odd hero power, so maybe they're just playing a really budget hunter. So we'll just play the South Sea deckhand and pass, and see what our opponent wants to do. If it is a really aggressive style deck, then we definitely want to have the minion on board just to make our opponent trade and stop their momentum. Okay, this is good. So we could probably coin out the Hench Clan Thug this turn, because we have access to Dagger Deadly Poison next turn. And that'll really allow us to take over this board, because once we buff this, if our opponent doesn't have Eagle Horn Bow here, once we buff this Thug beyond 3 toughness, it's incredibly hard for a Hunter deck to take care of it. Deadly Shot. Okay. So unfortunate we didn't get... Oh, but that's a great draw. Definitely get that Blink Fox down. See what we get. What do we want for Christmas? Snipe. Guns.
Probably not that.
Give
but,
the kids guns. I mean, Snipe is not the worst draw.
Don't mess with Rastakhan.
Okay, super budget deck here. So what do we want to do about said budget deck? I think we might want to go Diamol SI7 agent, using the SI7 agent to kill the 1/1. And then we can trade our 3/3 into the 2/3. And this is going to set us up for probably a pretty good Fungal Mancer next turn. Obviously, if we are considering that, we probably should have considered our minion placement a little bit more, but I think this is fine. I don't stress too much about minion placement, especially at these kind of ranks and, you know, with these kinds of
yeah,
decks.
I keep forgetting about stuff like that sometimes. Like, because no one used to do... What was the rogue one?
Minion placement effect for rogue.
It was like some kind of like backstabby type thing or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but it was like... Oh, or maybe it was a warrior one? Betrayal?
Oh, yeah, betrayal in
like,
rogue,
no one used to use that. And then suddenly people were using it, and everyone was like, oh my god! Minion placement, it matters.
It definitely, the game has definitely changed. There's even a new hunter spell that says destroy the leftmost and rightmost of your opponent's minions.
Yes, those two.
Alright, so we've got some more options here. I'll let you make the decision. We can either go for, say, like, dagger, snipe, firefly, and use the dagger to kill that big boar boy. Alternatively, we can go for the really aggressive play, which I think would be Fungal Mancer, and then face our opponent for 10.
I like the safe one.
You like the safe one? Sure. So, will mean that we take 4 face damage, but once again, we're setting up just another great board. We get 6 face damage in as well. I think even if our opponent has like Rexar here, it's still a nice play. We still have a nice board. We can even follow up with Flame Elemental Fungal Mancer if they have a kind of clear like that. But hopefully they just run into this snipe. We get to shoot one of their... oh no. We're shooting pigs.
No!
Oh. They baited it. They knew that we had the snipe.
Well played.
Well played? What do you mean?
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
Oh, Medivh's a
That's
very
what
good character.
I have Hearthstone deck tracker. That's the one that I have.
Mm-hmm.
But I used to use Hearthstone replay.
Yes.
How many multi-shots do you have stuck up your
area? You're stuck up your area. So I think Flame Elemental and then Fungal Mancer in between those two boys is going to be a premium move right here. I think we can even use our dagger to go face. Get that little bit of extra pressure on our opponent. But yeah, I actually use the Innkeeper for when I'm streaming, and I use HS replays when I'm not streaming, because I find that I really like the Innkeeper overlay for Twitch. But I actually really like the HS replays for my own kind of record keeping, and it does some cool things with hand tracking and stuff. So our opponent got a Jeweled Macquarie into a Chittering Tunneler. Let's see how much damage they're going to hit themselves for. Chittering Tunneler, one of my favourite, so probably a secret there. Chittering Tunneler is one of my favourite cards that sees very little play. Alright, we got a bear out there. So do we have lethal? Let's do the quick math. We've got the Flame Elemental into the bear. We have 7 damage there, so we need to discover another 8 damage, of which conveniently our dagger and a Leroy Jenkins is 8 damage.
Oh, okay, so what do? We chuck our Flame Elemental into the boy.
Yes, get that bear out of here. And then we'll just do the math again. So 5 and 2 is 7. Put our opponent to 8. Dagger them, put them to 6. And Leroy put them to 0. That is GG.
Yeah!
Got him.
We could have done some cold bloods and whatever stuff too. Right?
We could have BM'd our opponent into the ground. But be kind to them. Be kind to them.
3 for 3.
3 for 3, yeah. Odd Rogue's a tremendous deck.
3 for 3.
So the other decks that I was kind of thinking of, I mean, you've already seen kind of Beast Hunter. I think Beast Hunter's a really, really tough deck. It doesn't require any legendaries either. You can certainly put some in there. But the other deck is Odd Paladin, which I'm kind of surprised we haven't faced. Haven't faced any Odd Paladins.
Oh wow, King Rastakhan is looking terrible up close.
Yeah, he got a big old crown, don't he?
No, he has like hella pixelated boys
Oh.
in the face. Yeah.
Oh, some of those face pixels. Look, we all go through puberty sometime. We don't you don't need to be a bully about it. So I think here keeping the Argent Squire and the next part is difficult. I think conservative people would keep the Blink Fox and the Argent Squire, whereas a more aggressive player might try and mulligan for a Hench Clan Thug or a Vicious Fledgling, especially on the coin. So I'll let you make the decision. What do you feel?
No, let's go. Let's go. We're 3 for 3. You know, we can.
So we've got games to lose.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Rewarded.
Oh.
Not only did we hit the Vicious Fledgling, but we hit arguably a better one drop in Diamol. We'll see what our opponent has. Murlocs. Well, Diamol definitely. Yeah, I think
Wait,
Diamol.
no, this uses Hearthstone Deck Tracker. That's right. Doesn't it? Yeah.
Welcome. You may bow before me.
Do you want to bow before him?
No, not particularly.
Okay. Let's go for that Diamol and see what happens. So our opponent's on playing Quest Shaman. So the Shaman quest is pretty interesting if you haven't seen it before. The quest is to summon 10 Murlocs, which is a lot. But your reward is Megafin, and Megafin's a 5 mana 8/8 that fills your hand with Murlocs. So it kind of gives our opponent the opportunity to restock. Now, I think generally Murloc decks are extremely minion based. So they very rarely have a lot of good reactionary tools. So I think two options here are either trading the Diamol into the 2/1 and then coining out the Vicious Fledgling, hoping your opponent doesn't have like a Lightning Bolt or something like that, which I think they're unlikely to have.
I was thinking that too.
The other alternative is to dagger up, use the dagger and the Diamol to take down the two minions. You have a dagger, but you've only really got a Diamol in place.
Quickly.
Let's.
I reckon we go. Let's
go. Get that bird out and trade that Diamol into that 2/1. Now, probably the best thing your opponent could have is maybe a Murloc War Leader here, and they can trade the War Leader, or possibly a Flame Tongue Totem as well, and they can trade that into the Vicious Fledgling. But that's a pretty low value play because we can immediately get back with a dagger and an Argent Squire. Yep, there's the Flame Tongue Totem. Oh, they even have another Murloc to follow it up with, so... so a couple of options here. We could go Dagger, South Sea Deckhand, and we could kill the Flame Tongue Totem with the Dagger and the Deckhand, and then trade the Diamol into the what is now a 1/1, what will then be a 1/1. We could go Dagger and then Deadly Poison. I don't really like that one. I think we can save our Deadly Poison for later. We want to get on board a bit. So maybe Dagger, South Sea Deckhand, you feeling that one?
Yeah.
And we want to get our South Sea Deckhand into the Flame Tongue Totem, and the Dagger into... Oh, actually, let's attack with the Diamol into the Flame Tongue Totem, and then Dagger.
Yeah, I was going to say then we can save it.
Good thinking.
Job's done.
So we're on board. Now the tricky part with this hand is that we have a Vile Spine Slayer in hand, but we only really have those two enablers for the combo, the Argent Squire and the Deadly Poison. So we've got to be really conscious about if we want to play those two cards, because if we do, enabling that combo on the Vile Spine Slayer is going to be quite difficult.
Ew.
Interesting. I mean, I think going for a Blink Fox here is not the worst play. What do we get? Hex. Hex is great. And maybe go just Argent Squire here, and we'll kill that Primal Fin Totem. We can't let that stay in play because it does poop out Murlocs every turn.
Yeah.
Job's done.
And we want to make sure that we try and close this game out before our opponent hits 10 Murlocs. Ooh, the Primal Fin Lookout's really good for our opponent. Not only is it a Murloc that replaces itself, so our opponent's going to have a lot of resources in hand, but they can pick the right Murloc for the situation.
I also really want to eat his cards.
Munch his cards.
Yeah, like they
Do a
just look
chop.
so tasty.
Oh yeah, what is that? The Christmas one? It's like the hot cross bun kind of thing.
It's like a gingerbread
Snap.
heckin'.
Gingerbread snap. All right, I think we're gonna go for the pig son. Beautiful pig son, and we'll get that dagger up. We'll slam that
Should I
dagger
dagger
into
this
dagger into the
primal
3-2.
dude?
Hell yeah. And I think we have to kill that healing totem with the blink fox, just because there are cards like flame tongue totem, even earthen might, things like that. Excellent. The J Pawn asks, what rank are we? Rank doesn't really matter. We're having fun.
22.
We're having fun. Kerri's playing at rank 22.
Yes, alright, my camera's covering it.
Oh, that's all good.
My bad homies.
Oh, 2 thuggers? Alright.
I'm thugging.
Let's think. What do we want to do here? We've got options aplenty.
I mean, we can pig boy the 3/3, blink fox the tide caller.
Well, we can always use
Weapon
our dagger
the
on the tide
healing
caller.
totem.
If you
That too.
if you want to go for like Hench Clan Thug,
Yeah, no, that's true.
if you want to go for like Hench Clan Thug, trade our existing Thug into their War Leader, then trade our dagger into their Tide
Yes.
Caller. I think that's pretty reasonable. We can even then dagger up again after the after that. And I think, what are they at on their quest? They're 8 out of 10. I think we got to go face. I think we got to try and get this one done real quick. We'll save the deadly poison to activate our Vile Spine next turn in case we need it. So we're coaching. Yeah, we're just doing a bit of coaching, bit of playing video games with pals, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, the Ghostlight Angler is a pretty interesting one. The good thing is that if all their turn is going to be is playing 3 of these 2/2s, we might be able to tempo our opponent out of this game.
We probably have to save our Slayer, right?
Well, we have a Hex in our hand, so we can always deploy that Hex. So let's have a bit of a think. Maybe we go for like Firefly, Vile Spine one of the 2/2s, Dagger another one of the 2/2s, and then probably maybe the
Big
Blink
boys in the face hole.
the Blink Fox into the other 2/2, and then send everything else face.
Yeah.
So Firefly first.
And then the other, the
Yep.
flame.
Yep, we can get the other Flame Elemental out there. And then Vile Spine one of those 2/2s. And we can Dagger one of the other 2/2s. We Blink Fox into the last one. And then we've got 12 damage there, which is going to give us a nice, nice healthy lead. We have lethal?
Big damage,
Did we have lethal?
potentially,
With the deadly
with the
poison
deadly
and the
poison
Leroy?
and Leroy.
That might be true. Usually not, especially at these kind of ranks and stuff, and just especially playing against Quest Shaman, not doing too much lethal calculations and stuff. And so if we miss lethal, I apologize.
I'm trying to listen, so I'm like, I can't like calculate and listen simultaneously.
Oh, me neither. Me neither.
And it's hard because like you're on a timeline too, so
Yeah.
this is fun. Now we have lethal. So.
Now we definitely have lethal. So you find the lethal. Let's see what you go for. Deadly poison. Okay, appreciate that. Who's gonna get the lethal though? Is it gonna be Leroy? Or is it
Nah,
gonna
pig
be
boy.
Pig
It's
boy?
gonna be a pig boy, mate.
Yes, young thugger.
Yay!
Ba-ba-da-da. Rope. Yeah. I think after a year of receiving YouTube comments of like you miss, like probably at least once a week I get a YouTube comment that's like you missed lethal here. I just have blocked it out. Like, yeah, I don't care. I was having fun. If it cost me the game,
Just be like,
oh well.
thank you.
Next time.
I noticed after I uploaded this video.
Yeah. It's pretty much. It's just like, yeah, thanks for actually watching and paying attention and stuff. Like, those people I really appreciate. Just not trying to troll you. Don't worry, J Pawn. You're all good. So I think. What do you think
agent.
here?
I know we want Argent.
Yeah.
But maybe no agent.
Yeah, SI7 Agent's definitely one of our worst 3-drops, especially without the coin. So I think just keeping the Argent Squire is the play. Why do we call him Pig Boy? Because he's a big... What are they called?
He's a big pig boy.
What are the Razorfen Crawl people called? Are they...
Well, it's been a long time since I saw one of those.
Bristleback? What's Bristleback
Yeah,
called?
bristlebacks, yeah.
So Argent Squire here, I think, is the way to go. Especially if our opponent is on Beast Hunter. Then we can actually contest a turn 1
Quillbore.
Quillbore! There we go.
There we go.
Yes.
You WoW nerds in the chat coming to the rescue.
Bristleback is a Dota hero? Yes, thank you.
Oh, it is too. But he looks like him.
Yeah, well, I mean, in Warcraft 3, Bristleback was a Quillbore. Alright, so we can just dagger up and we can trade in here. To that Diamol. So what I was talking about before with Beast Hunter having that kind of 1-2 punch is they have 2 cards that are both 2-drops that are very good if you have a beast in play. One of them being Crackling Razormaul, which is 2 mana 3/2. On Battlecry you get to adapt one of your beasts and the adaptations can be very good. The other card is a weapon called Headhunter's Hatchet, which I will ask you to say 3 times fast. Headhunter's Hatchet. But that one says it's a 2 mana 2/2 weapon that gets +1 durability if you have a beast in play.
I did it on stream, but I forgot to press my button.
I'll trust you. Alright, our opponent traded in, which is a smart move, but I think we just go for Tar Creeper and smash that bird.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yes. So we did have a bit of an awkward draw here. One of the disadvantages of specifically this build is that it is playing probably 1 5-drop more than what I would usually like. And that's just because you do get some situations like this where, you know, we've got a lot of 5-drops, particularly Leroy, which we never want to play unless it's like the last turn of the game. And it just means that we don't have a lot of options. But we've done really well at controlling our opponent's board, so they've got to have a really kind of particular, specific answer here.
Answer me, Hunter!
Bronson, what's going on? Welcome to the chat. Good to see you. Hopefully you're enjoying yourself. Ooh, okay, our opponent's got the Scab. So that can be pretty dangerous.
Ew. Cold blood, boy.
Ooh, okay, so here's an
Dagger
interesting...
South Sea cold blood?
Well, we've got an interesting option. We could either go... we're definitely daggering up here, but the options we've got are we could dagger, then we could play the South Sea deckhand and use our dagger and the South Sea deckhand to kill the Scav. And then we could even cold blood the Tar Creeper and go face. The other option is we could do the exact same thing except use the Tar Creeper to trade instead of the South Sea deckhand. I think that's a pretty bold play. I would not recommend. But I think we can just trade our South Sea deckhand and this dagger for that Scavenging Hyena, cold blood our Tar Creeper, and hope that it lives a turn. It should, I think. Like if our opponent didn't kill it last turn, we should be pretty good, because if it lives a turn and we can drop our Cobalt Scalebane and get some buffs on there, it's very good. Back at work, confirmed not enjoying self. Oh no. Everybody...
I mean, we've dropped like our pig boys before, and they didn't get any value. They just straight up died. So this is still worth.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. Sometimes we just want to drop things to bait removal out of our opponent. Like we'll play the worst thing first because we know that, you know, if our Hench Clan Thug lives for a couple of turns or our Vicious Fledgling, it's really great. J-Pawn, thank you so much for the follow. Ooh, keep it wavy, Morgan Davey.
Ew, what the fuck?
Witchwood Grizzly. Interesting. Young Thug. Ooh. Part of me just wants to play this Cobalt Scalebane and pass. The really aggressive option would be to play the Fungalmancer and trade our Tar Creeper and our Dagger in. That's really aggressive though, and it doesn't maximize our Fungalmancer very well. The downside is that if our opponent does have like those Crackling Razormaws and stuff, which are cards that make sense for them to have in their hand because they haven't had an opportunity to deploy them very well, it might be a bit dangerous for us. So I think I'll leave this one in your hands. I think either the Cobalt Scalebane.
I like the Scalebane though, because then we have a 5/5 as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and a 5/5 body in this matchup means a lot. And then probably not attacking, I would say, is the option. There's an argument for attacking with the dagger, but I think not. But yeah, I definitely feel getting a lot of people with those return to work vibes, not enjoying themselves. And for those people, I would say always consider making a change in your life.
I concur.
Yeah,
we did a tea chat earlier this week talking about like motivations and inspirations and goals and happiness and all that crazy shenanigans, and it was actually quite insightful.
Yeah, what did you find out?
Well, just about like, you know, we might not be like myself and Jules, the lovely lady who joined me. We both create content full time, and so obviously we're going to struggle financially a little bit, but trying to find like at least we're happy though. Absolutely. So you know how like earlier we were talking about people going back to retail just so they could live life?
Yeah.
It's pretty much that, right?
Yeah, I think definitely like mental health is something that over the past 5 to 10 years I've definitely started valuing quite a lot more. Alright, so we're in a bit of a predicament here. Once again, we have the exact same option where we can drop the Fungalmancer and we can trade into that Witchwood Grizzly. I think that's a bit more value here because we'll then get to drop our buff onto the Fungalmancer. So I think that might be the play. Also, this Witchwood Grizzly is pretty threatening with that Wind Fury.
Yeah.
So maybe drop the Fungalmancer and Dagger and an attack in. Puts us pretty low. But, I mean, 15 plays 25. We kind of have advantage on the board. I think we might be okay.
Buffy boy.
Oh, I love my job, but I was on holidays last week, not ready to be an adult again. Yes, the start of school feeling. the 5 more minutes mum feeling.
Yeah.
I know that one too well.
That was me last night with myself playing Subnautica, like I should go to bed. But Kerri.
Yeah, we had a big whole session maybe a week or two ago of Factorio. I was playing Factorio with some lovely friends, and geez, we went real deep. Definitely one of those, like, it was daylight when I started, but now there is definitely no light. Bunny's working from home. Well, I mean, if they're going to stress you out with all this, like, overtime chat, that's fair enough. Alright, what's our opponent got here? They've got a Jeweled Macaw.
I think at this point they're just kind of throwing things out there.
Yeah.
Is kind of what the play that they went with.
Yeah, they're going face as well. So what that might represent to us is that they have kill command. So we've got to be conscious of going too low. What are our options here, though?
I mean, we can.
I mean, we can clear their board.
We only have 7
this turn. By going like Hench Clan Thug, SI7 agent to kill the Crackling Razormaw, trade the Fungalmancer into the Bear Shark and the Cobalt Scalebane into the 1/1. The problem with that is that it doesn't get us any face damage, but it does set us up to kind of close the game out in a couple of turns, and does clear their board. So if they do have kill command, they're gonna have to work for it.
We kind of have to anyways. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything else.
So we'll kill the Crackling Razormaw. We're going to trade our Fungal Mancer into the Bear Shark. Kill that bird. It is rough. Our opponent's done very well at keeping us
And we've
low.
got a Buffy boy.
Bronson, slightly off topic, will you be at the GP Sydney, Mr. Wave? I will be. I actually, for the very first time, will be scorekeeping a huge Magic tournament, the Magic Grand Prix. So I'm very excited
nice
for that. Yeah, new opportunity.
When is that?
That is on the last day of this month and the first 2 days of February. So January has how many days? 30? 31?
I'm going to be there like a week after that.
I'm pretty sure that like everyone's going to Sydney in the next month. I've seen so many people posting.
Valentine's Day.
Oh, you're going to play some Cho'Gall?
No, he doesn't play HOTS.
Oh, come on. Just one time a year. It's the perfect opportunity.
But I will bring my Switch and probably demand that that Arthur plays like Diablo with me or something.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
That's okay. What our opponent does now will be very telling. So they're trading. They didn't get a hero powering. I guess we can just go Hench Clan Thug, Argent Squire, Dagger up, trade the SI7 into the Wolf, and attack Dagger to face.
The light protects me.
Job done.
We can do this, I believe.
Yeah, hello fam, we're getting those learns. We are getting a lot of learns today, aren't we, Kerri?
I'm having a heckin' learn.
Do you feel like after playing some games with it, you kind of feeling out the deck pretty well?
Yeah. For sure. It's just like all the difference between like just playing Hearthstone and actually getting good at Hearthstone is having so much of this like knowledge in the back of your head on like what the meta is, what cards they could have in their hand, what have they played so far that they haven't played yet. All those kinds of things are things that I'm just terrible at.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel you.
That's why I tend to also be bad at drafting in ranked mode in Heroes of the Storm, because that's also all that information you need for that. And what the hell, guy?
Yeah, so our opponent actually discovered a Halazi the Lynx off of their Jeweled Macaw. So their hand is full of 1/1s with Rush, which is
they can't go
pretty
face
bad.
down, so.
Pretty bad for us.
I mean, it is poo-poo, but...
I mean, we can take out the Scavenging Hyena, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
The main issue is that we're going to... our opponent will just kill basically the next 3 minions that we play. So... How do we want to tango with this? We have to play Leroy, unfortunately, because we need to get the combo on the SI7 off.
Yeah.
So I guess...
And trade the little...
Yeah, so go Leroy and trade the Argent Squire.
This guy's toast.
And then...
Quickly.
I guess use the dagger to kill the Lynx, and then just go face with the other two. And we'll hope that we can kind of pick up some good draws. This is not looking good for us. Our opponent with the Halazi the Lynx off of the Jeweled Macaw is a tremendous way to break this kind of interesting stalemate that we had going on here. But I think that no matter what play we did, we were kind of damned if we do, damned if we don't. Just because of all these Lynxes.
So many Lynx eye.
And if our opponent did have the kill command that we were playing around before, if it's the leftmost card in the hand, then we are dead. Oh, we got a Crackling Razormaw. See if they can roll Poisonous. Or plus attack. Plus 3 health. Okay, so they got a pretty garbage adapt there. 5 things to trade. I mean, if our opponent has 4 more lynxes that they can do stuff with. And they have a Headhunter's Hatchet. Interesting. What are they going to do with... What are they going to do with that hatchet, though? Does our opponent goof up? Looks like our opponent did a big old goof there.
I don't know.
So if we dagger and hit face, they go to 10. Oh, we'd be 1 off. How do we not die next turn? We have to fully clear their board.
That's impossible.
That is impossible. So I think it's going to be GG here. Maybe just go face with everything and see if your opponent attacks one of your minions with that Headhunter's Hatchet. That's your out.
Pray that they do a heckin' goof.
Yeah. Goof.
Oh, I
goof,
messed up.
Goof.
I goofed.
That's okay.
I goofed because I attacked before the dude.
Well, it might actually be a strategic play to kind of throw your opponent off. Maybe they'll be thinking about how much you goofed. No, they just straight up kill you.
Strategic goof. I mean, that was our first loss out of 5. So.
Yeah, and you know our opponent played extremely well. They hit some good cards at good times. We played. I think we played pretty well as well. We kind of, you know, minimized some of our opponent's better cards, some of their better plays. But I think that kind of matchup can be pretty volatile. Oh, more hunters. Hunter definitely.
Of course there are.
Yeah, Hunter definitely has one of the higher win rates, or higher play rates rather.
Do we just keep the blink because we have such good 1-drops?
I think I would be tempted to keep
1-drop, or throw back a Firefly.
I'd be tempted to keep. Against Hunter, it's tough. I'd be tempted to just keep the Firefly and send everything else back. There's also an argument for keeping Diamol and Firefly, as Diamol's a better turn 1 play, but Firefly can really help you hit your combos later on. However, it really doesn't let you... it gives you 1 less chance to hit a really good 3-drop. It's tough. In this matchup as well. I
would probably just put back the Blink Fox and then just be like...
Well, put back a Blink Fox and a Firefly. Because we don't need 2 Fireflies, that's for sure. If we're... Oh, Cold Blood... if it's Spell Hunter, it might be actually a very good draw. Cold Blood isn't a card that, if deployed in the right situations... Nope, it's just Beast Hunter. Alright, so we could go for the Diamol. Alternatively, if we really want to stuff our opponent up, like I was saying, that 1-2 punch, we could actually go for the Coin Dagger and kill that Crackling, the Jeweled Macaw. So if they have that 2-drop follow-up, they won't have a beast in play.
Do we do it for the memes?
I would do it for the memes.
I'm all about memes.
Swiftly.
So let's hope our opponent next turn they just play a naked Crackling Razormaw and we get to have a hearty chuckle.
I'm waiting.
This also potentially sets us up for oh great, like I mean either they didn't have a 2-drop or we guessed correctly. I'd actually be pretty tempted to go like double South Sea Deckhand, or at least 1 South Sea Deckhand, maybe like South Sea Diamol, and so that we can get a little bit of aggression going on with the like a South Sea Deckhand chipping away, and we don't want to use our dagger. We want to keep that up just
save it. Yep.
Yeah, just in case we need to deploy this other South Sea Deckhand. I will say that Cold Blood's probably the worst card in this matchup. I do like Mamaze. Interesting options. We could go for we would go for an aggressive player with a Cold Blood, but I think our opponent's probably got a flanking strike, or like that person before, maybe a multi-shot for our things. So maybe let's go for a we could go like dagger into the bear, trade the South Sea Deckhand or the Diamol, and then play the Firefly and re-dagger. How do you feel about that? Why not just double deckhand?
So
We'll get into that in a second.
Attacker.
So it would be dagger to the bear. Then we
Trade these with these boys.
trade one of our minions. Yeah, you can go for either one, whichever one you value more. Firefly and then re-dagger, and then go face with that diamond. Having the dagger up is going to be really important moving into the next couple of turns, because we're probably going to have to try and get a combo off with this SI7. Biazal asks, why not double deckhand? I think saving a deckhand for a trading opportunity is really good. I also don't want our opponent to drop like a trap or something like that and have us be in a really bad situation for like an explosive trap or something. You know, we could still definitely be up against like a hybrid hunter or something like that. Even
It's
though our
just kind
opponent
of overcommitting a bit too much.
yeah, we're kind of hedging our bets there. Glad
We could have done it for the memes.
we could have.
But
But you made a good choice before keeping that dire mole in play, because it meant that our opponent couldn't get a good trade-off with that Unleash the Hounds. Here, I think just Flame Elemental SI7 is... Oh, actually... Maybe this is the turn to go for the Cold Bloods.
I wonder.
like Cold Blood onto the Diamol.
We could go like South Sea Deckhand, then Cold Blood, both the Diamol and the South Sea Deckhand, so we diversify our threats. And then we go face with both. And we want to hold that Flame Elemental so that we have an enabler for our Vile Spine Slayer.
Gotcha.
We can probably go face with that dagger too. It's a lot of pressure for our opponent to deal with. I will say we don't have a lot of gas in the tank though.
We do, it's just not accessible yet.
It's almost there. Ooh,
We just have to siphon a little bit.
So this is why we diversify our threats, because if our opponent has a card like this, they don't get all of our eggs. Oh, never mind, they get all of our eggs. All of our eggs are gone. But that's okay. Our opponent's on 14 and...
Their eggs are gone too, so...
so I think maybe going for like Tar Creeper, dagger their Timberwolf, and then re-dagger up. We've got a Vile Spine ready, so if our opponent has, like that last opponent, if they have like a Witchwood Grizzly or something like that, we have the answer. Have a lot on board and he has 14 health. Yes. Ooh, Dire Frenzy. Okay, so this is... That's a very good target for our Vile Spine Slayer because it has lifesteal, and we definitely don't want our opponent to do that. Ooh.
But we could just kill it.
Well, we don't want to hit it because then they'll gain 5, and that puts us in a rougher situation. The real question is if we go Flame Elemental or Deadly Poison. And I'm actually pretty tempted to go Deadly Poison here. So Deadly Poison, then Vile Spine, and then attack face with the dagger. Just because our opponent is so low. And they're really on the back foot, you know. If their best play last turn was playing a 1-drop and Dire Frenzying it, I think we're good. This doesn't put lethal in play, but we do have lethal in our hand. Because we can SI7 for 2 damage, we have 4 damage in minions, 4 damage off the dagger. And that is 10. So let's see what our opponent has. Even if they kill the Tar Creeper, we still have lethal. They have dogs. Gastropod. The Gastropod does stop us from having lethal, right? Because we can't hit it without losing.
We need another face thing.
So I think maybe we go...
but we have to SI7 it anyway, don't we?
Yeah, I think we go Argent Squire, SI7 the Gastropod.
The light protects. I wonder.
And then we can probably keep that Flame Elemental in case we draw a Vile Spine and we need to use it. Then I would go face with both of those minions. And probably
do we kill a doggo?
No, I think we go face with both minions, face with the dagger, and then re-dagger up.
That's fair.
And I think we can hold the Flame Elemental. I don't think there's many cards that would like deal with most of our board except for one minion or something. Especially out of Hunter. Like, our opponent would have to clear our board and have a taunt.
He tried to trade the 3/4.
Silly boy.
And then he was like, oh, dang.
Oh, they have Rexar. So, Rexar's pretty good. Gives them 5 armor here.
But he's still heckin' boo-booed.
Yes. And doesn't kill... Only kills the Tar Creeper here. Now you have to decide what they want to trade for. I don't think it really matters. I guess trade for the Vile Spine, and we still have 6 damage in play. Guga. Face with everything. Yay!
Justice is mine!
Take that, filthy hunter.
GG!
You want it to initiate combat? Yeah, keeping that flame elemental is definitely the place. You got your card back? Is that 5 wins?
Is it?
Is it?
Do
Is
I?
it?
Hello?
Is
Where
it
do I
though?
go for these things?
It should just kind of...
Oh yeah, that's right. Open your chest at the end of season. Yay!
Yay! We got there. Excellent. So, I guess to kind of close things out, as a person who, you know, doesn't exactly play a heap of Hearthstone, you know, kind of comes in and out here and there, what did you think of Oddrogue? And don't forget to hit push to talk.
I really liked it. I'm fading. I need lunch.
Oh, I feel you with that.
I like it because it has a lot of elements that I'm used to.
Mm.
So like a lot of like the aggressive stuff and kind of making choices based on the limited decisions you can make rather than like what's the word where you it's the 0 spell and it like gives you
Backstab? Shadow Step?
Yeah, Shadow Step.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if I Shadow Step this and then use this buff 3 times and then play it and get some random stuff and then potentially I can maybe, and the odds of this are, and it's like, no, my dude.
Yeah. One of the things that I talk about on my stream quite a lot is the difference between aggressive decks and control decks and decision making. That you know, oftentimes people discount aggressive decks as like being very you know, straightforward, not a lot of decision making, you know, me go face, that kind of stuff, that kind of rhetoric. But actually, the difference between aggressive and control decks is that aggressive decks have less decisions that they need to make, but each decision is significantly more important. You know, if you say you have 5 decisions you need to make in a game, each one counts for 20%. Whereas in a control deck, or like you're saying there, a deck with many permutations of plays, you know, you've got dozens, maybe even hundreds of choices over the course of the game. So each choice is kind of less important overall. But
I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, that's how I like to think about it. So, you know, even though people might say, you know, go face, all this kind of stuff, you should really be thinking about things quite a lot more, especially the mulligan. The mulligan is so important. You can't just be like, yeah, I'll keep whatever. You have to learn to, you know, go between aggressive mulligans and conservative mulligans. And, you know, that gets into, you know, the professional and pro player stuff. So, but I think if you're a budget player out there, or an aggressive player, or a casual player, and you're playing an aggressive deck, you know, definitely give it some more thought, and you know, make sure that the limited decisions that you make sure you're giving them enough time. You know? Yeah. Anyway,
I learned.
We did some learns. It's really good. Would you recommend this deck to a casual player or someone like yourself?
Like me, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably keep playing with it a bit.
Yeah.
For the memes. But if someone's like really new, it might still be a little confusing, or you might not even be able to afford some of the cards.
Of course.
But I've been like in and out for years.
Yeah.
Like since the game came out. So yeah.
Great. Well, I think I'm going to cut things off there. Big shout outs to KidKerrigan for joining me today and playing some Hearthstone, getting some card backs. Let the people know where they can find you.
Everything is just at KidKerrigan or /KidKerrigan. Take your pick.
Yeah.
You you type in the website and then just put /KidKerrigan at the end of it, and then that's me.
Excellent. Well, I'm not gonna. That's definitely leading down some dangerous territory. Definitely don't do that on every website.
Well, not everyone, but you know, like social media and stuff.
Yeah.
Twitch.tv /KidKerrigan, and then like Twitter /KidKerrigan or @KidKerrigan, or like Instagram @KidKerrigan. Like that's it.
Oh my gosh!
If branding 101 right there.
Absolutely. If you're gonna follow KidKerrigan on one place, I would definitely recommend Instagram. It's a very good content out there.
It's doggo heavy too.
Doggo heavy,
on the
and that's the way we like it.
Yeah.
We like it dog heavy. We like it pig heavy. We like our beautiful pig sons. But thank you everyone for watching. If you are watching on YouTube, of course, all the links are down in the description. I'll probably be chucking this deck up over on Hearthpwn so you can check out the VODs and things like that. So jump over there, give the deck a +1, leave a lovely thoughtful comment. What do you think about Odd Rogue from a kind of budget point of view? Or do you think Odd Rogue is a great idea for someone who's in and out of the game? Do you think it's a bad idea? Let me know what you think. My name's been Tommy Wave. You can find all those links down in the description as well. And until next time, stay safe, stay wavy, eat the rich, and be good. Bye! I hope you enjoyed that video. Check out other ones over here, or come subscribe to the Wave Pool for more excellent times.